here I would like to teach you how to simplify powers of I, and I will do that by introducing what I call an I clock. We first need to start with what we need to know, and these are things that we can figure out based on prior knowledge and then a little bit of prediction. So recall that from definition of powers, any value to the 0 power is always equal to 1. So we need to know that I to the 0 is equal to 1. Also recall that any value to the first power is always itself, and so I to the first power is equal to I. From this lesson, we have learned that I squared is equal to -1. Well, now we need to know what I to the third is. Well, I to the third is I to the first times I to the second, because we add the powers together to get that 3. Well, I to the first is I, and I to the second is -1, and so that would end up giving us -I. It turns out that any power of I is equivalent to one of these 4 answers. So just write down any power of I is equal to one of these. Okay? What we're going to do is I'm going to take this information that I have written down and I'm going to organize it. And that is actually my I clock. So my I clock is a way to take the information that I have written down in red and organize it. What I'll do, draw a circle. In the center of your circle, put I as the base. The powers that I need to know are 0, 1, 2, and 3. So starting at what would be 12 o'clock with 0, and then go clockwise, 1, 2, and 3. And then on the outside of my clock are the results of my powers. In other words, I to the 0 power equals 1. I to the first power equals I to the second power equals -1. I to the third power is -I. And so the I clock that I have written here gives a good way to organize this information. So if you will, memorize the I clock, and that will help you in this particular section. Now, not only do you need to know the I clock, but you need to know what to do with it. It's a tool. And so on here, down below, I will say to compute any power of I, here would be the steps. You would first long divide, don't use your calculator, but long divide the given power by 4. Why 4? Well, it turns out that I to the 4th is equal to +1, and then if we long divide any value by 4, then we will get remainders of 0, 1, 2, or 3, which are the powers on those original I values that I said we needed to know. So long divide the given power by 4. Once you long divide, you're going to look at the remainder. Whatever the remainder of your long division is, tells you where to go on your clock. So go here on the clock. Your answer will be on the outside of the clock. So if we have a problem and we long divide whatever power that's been given to us by 4, and let's say that we get remainder 1, we would go here and then our actual answer would be the value on the outside, which would be I. And I'll show you this in some examples that we're about to do here in a bit. Make sure that you have what I've showed you here in your notes. It explains the I clock, how it works, and then I'll give you some examples that specifically shows you with numbers how this works.